All right, let's talk about a few news stories. I just saw this one, Chatty G. ChatGPT. Okay, I misunderstood. They gave it programming tasks, and according to them, it passed, although not well. Now, I've been using AI to write programs for a while now, and I never heard of ChatGPT being very good at it. Now, Google Bard claimed about a month ago that they got much better at writing code, but I find that Google Bard can't solve even the simplest thing with code. The thing that works is Claude, which I've demonstrated before, but I'll just mention it again. I had a student come by yesterday and ask me how to do some complicated thing with spreadsheets on Google Google Documents. And I don't know for sure, but I think Claude 2 is probably the best. Claude 2 is excellent at writing Python, and it supposedly knows other programming class tasks. I can give it a complicated task, and it gives you very good code. Bard gives you garbage code that's wrong most of the time, and even when you ask it many times to fix it, the code stays wrong. So Claude 2 seems to be the best coding AI right now. And I see some comment, hearing an echo. Oh, well, I don't know what that would be about. Let me know if other people are hearing an echo. I'm only running one app, OBS. I think if there's an echo, it must be something at your end. But if other people have bad sound, let me know. I'll see if somehow I'm causing it. All right. I thought this was a joke when I read this. In China and Asia, people are drinking bubble tea, and they are accusing them of being depressed and addicted to it when they're taking like one of them a week. This sounds like complete madness to me. I mean, tea is less caffeine than coffee. Caffeine is quite benign and doesn't have much health consequences at all. This seems milk tea has experienced tremendous growth in popularity, especially among youths. Milk tea consumption might lead to addiction, depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. This is very hard to believe that tea would cause all these harmful things. By the way, Wai-Kang, up here, I ran on the danger zone and I got 10 megabits per second. It's those machines, they're drivers or something. I even updated the driver on that machine and it's still no good. It's something with the Windows wireless cards. The network is fine, the router is fine.
10?
Yeah.
10?
Yeah, and over here I get like...
Upstairs 90.
Yeah, well, 10 is probably the limit of this router. But the point is that thing doesn't even give you 1. So there's something wrong with the wireless drivers. I just updated them, that didn't even help. There's something wrong with the wireless cards on those machines. Anyway, that's the joy of Windows. Anyway, very hard to believe. I don't know what they're talking about here. I wonder, this is researchers from the Tsinghua University and the Central University of Finance and Economics in China concluded that they're addicted to milk tea, which seems completely like madness to me. It reminds me of reefer madness here. There was a time like 50 years ago when the US government paid scientists to invent that marijuana would do terrible things to you, and there was no evidence at all that it was true, but they were just encouraged to say that. Okay, good. Looks like the sound problem is taken care of. Anyway, all right. Well, this is annoying. Let's see if I can view it if I have to go to a private window. I saw it earlier. Yep, here we are. All right. So this may really change things in San Francisco. A woman got hit by a car, driven by a human, and it knocked her over, and then she got ran over by a Cruise driverless car. But when it detected that there was something under the car, it stopped on top of her. So apparently when it hits an obstacle, it stops, and they couldn't get it to move. So she was trapped under the car for some period of time. And this seems, now a lot of people have been getting very, very angry at the driverless cars in San Francisco, saying they are unsafe, they block fire trucks, they don't respect police lines, and in general, they snarl up everything. And this may be the kind of scandal that will cause the government to take more efforts to push them out. They've been being put in by the state government against the objections of local government, and this kind of scandal may be something that will change the driverless cars in San Francisco. We will see. Anyway, all right. Maybe it's the sugar and it has caffeine. Well, yeah, some other people try to tell me that tea with sugar in it is a dangerous drug, but I don't think so, considering how many Americans drink coffee. I highly doubt it. Anyway, what is this? Garbage. Okay, I guess I got to put this in a private window too. It is amazing how many websites block everything. In Opera, not blocking it in my browser, it actually has an ad blocker. Oh, looks like, all right, I'll have to move back to the Brave browser. Okay, you can view this in the Brave browser, you can't view it in Opera. An increasing number of my news sources will not open in Opera anymore. I have no idea why. Anyway, this is a very interesting article, and it was the topic of Rachel Maddow's show last night. That's how I became aware of it. Elon Musk, what he did with Twitter was very hard to understand. He offered to buy it, then he tried to pull out, then he bought it. As soon as he bought it, he seemed to make a series of moves carefully calculated to destroy Twitter utterly. And what's amazing is, before he bought it, he got a text message telling him to read a right-wing article with a strategy for Twitter, and then he followed exactly that strategy. And I don't know if he's deliberately following this strategy written by someone else, or I rather more strongly suspect he is being influenced and controlled by right-wing friends. When he got on Twitter, a couple of years ago, Elon Musk was a Democrat. And then COVID hit, and he wanted to force all his workers in the South Bay to keep building cars even during COVID. And they tried to have lockdowns and say you can't make the factory workers come in, and he tried to make them do it anyway, and he said this is terrible. And after that he said, I'm a Republican because I want my workers to work, I don't care if they get sick. And then he said, I have to punish you, I'm going to be a Republican now. And then he started following right-wing influencers, like one of them being Cat Turd 2. Cat Turd 2 is one of the main leaders of the Republican Party these days, a Twitter character. And so these people are feeding him ideas, but it's amazing. This 3,000-word article said they had a declaration of war against the globalist American empire, and they had a 4-stage plan to destroy Twitter and make it more friendly, because the right-wing belief is that when Twitter kicked Trump off, that caused him to lose the presidency. And that might very well be true, as a matter of fact. I remember I was like most Democrats, I was very, very upset with all the things Trump was doing, and I was horrified that the impeachments did nothing, and the law seemed helpless to hurt him. The only punishment Trump had for all of his evil behavior was losing his Twitter account. And that was a really serious punishment for him. That really bothered him. Anyway, so they had a plan here. They had a 4-step plan, and that's exactly what he did. So it's interesting. 4 weeks after that, he bought Twitter, and then he took it private, which is what they recommended, and then he had a roadmap. The roadmap started with the claim that censorship on Twitter cost him the election, which anyway, people say this is baseless. I'd say it's a little more than baseless, but anyway. Then step 1 is blame the platform for its users. So Twitter will be blamed for everything. And then step 2 is a coordinated pressure campaign by the Anti-Defamation League. And so that's why this is what's going on in the last couple of months. Musk has been blaming the Anti-Defamation League for the money loss at Twitter, which is ridiculous. And I think he must have gotten this idea from alt-right people. I mean, the advertisers have left because he has flooded Twitter with Nazis. And most American brands are not willing to have their ads appear next to Nazi posts because it will be harmful to their brand. And blaming the Anti-Defamation League for Twitter's financial problems is outrageous, and this fits in with all of his other conspiracy theories about COVID and other things. He's just believing all the right-wing stuff. Anyway, it's interesting to see. There does seem to be a right-wing plan here that was written by somebody else, which Musk is just following, which I think means that he's just being controlled by people near him. This is extremely common. Rich, powerful people get sycophants who hang around next to them and whisper in their ear like Rasputin. And they really control them because they're usually not as smart as they think they are, and they really like having somebody tell them that they're wonderful and then suggest suggestions to them. Anyway, so Amazon is going to enforce multi-factor authentication requirements for root logins, which is probably an excellent idea. I was sort of interested in how did this work, because Amazon uses certificate logins anyway. And so here's how their multi-factor authentication works. Amazon's multi-factor, what they recommend is that you get a FIDO security key, a hardware USB key, or can connect over Bluetooth, so that you prove presence of this device, and then you can, I guess, they checks that as well as your Amazon PGP key, the certificate you make, which I think is not exactly PGP, but it's a similar public key signing system. So that's the FIDO security key. You can also have a virtual version of it that runs an authenticator app, which does the same thing. And you can have a hardware token, which has a 6-digit numeric code you have to type in. These are the RSA tokens and things like that. Those are acceptable. One thing you cannot use is SMS text-based MSA. They won't accept it anymore at Amazon. An increasing number of companies are refusing to use this anymore because it's so easy to intercept and to take over your phone with phone swapping. The point of these things is, for example, if you have an app here, even if somebody took over your phone with SIM swapping, they wouldn't be able to fool it because they wouldn't have your face. That's the idea, I think. I don't know if that's really true. I'd like to find out exactly. In a SIM swapping attack, you convince your carrier, like Comcast, that you lost your phone and you have to move to a new phone. So they move your stuff to a new phone. Then all your SMS messages and phone calls and everything will go to the new phone. But I wonder if you installed the app on that phone, I think you would not be able to get the authentication matching the old phone, but not without having the same face. But I wonder. I would like someone to test that and see if that's true. I don't know. That'd be an interesting question. Would SIM swapping affect these? I'm guessing not, because otherwise Amazon would probably block them too. I mean, the point is the danger with SMS is primarily SIM swapping. And so I would hope that this one is also immune to SIM swapping attacks, but I don't know exactly if that's true.
What about the emails? I mean, emails are secure enough, right?
Well, email might be. They don't even mention email. Email is another way to go. I would think email would be no better than this for the same reason, because if I did SIM swap your phone, the emails would come to this phone. I think they would. Yeah, so, but I'm not so sure about this one, or this one here, the virtual MFA device, which is basically Google Authenticator or something running on the phone.
If you do SIM swapping, what you can do is maybe do forget password for the email account, and then you can reset your password, email password.
Well, yes. I mean, once you have email, you can usually reset a password, but that's why if you had two-factor with a hardware token, then it wouldn't work, because SIM swapping your phone wouldn't work. And I wonder about what would happen if you had Google Authenticator and then you did SIM swapping. Would you end up with the same Google Authenticator numbers or not? It would be a good thing to try sometime, or get somebody to research that. Anyway, all right, let me stop this news stuff.